Okay, hello. Today we're gonna go over the Warrior PvP guide. I know you guys have been asking for a while now, so I decided to knock it out. This should be relatively quick. I don't want to overload you guys with too much information. I just want to get you guys like acclimated and moving in the right direction. Maybe I'll do a couple more videos talking about specific nuances and things like that, but for now we're just gonna keep it simple. So let's start with lock skills. Let's go over that. So charging slash, lock that. Down here, ground smash, or yeah, just ultimate ground smash. Don't actually lock regular ground smash, but just ultimate, lock that. Deep ground slash, lock this. Severing thrust, we don't really use this in Awakening. We prefer deep thrust. Deep thrust is just way better than severing thrust. It's a better follow-up tool, and it allows for us to have a little bit of leeway. So with this one, this is a hard knockdown. And sometimes what'll happen, right, you'll use shield charge and then you'll actually kind of like hit them with a little bit of a stiff, right? So you'll go like boom this, and then you need a second, and then you just kind of boom full combo them out like this with the knockdown. That will feel a lot better than just getting a float. The float is not very good in my opinion. So that's just that's just a preference thing. There are some people that prefer the severing thrust, like Zero Den uses this all the time. That's his preferred play style. For me, deep thrust, in my opinion, it one, way cooler, and two, it's just more of a like it doesn't add to a whole thing to a CC counter. So I don't know, it's just a preference thing. Realistically, it's not really a bad thing if you use this. It's just not my preference. Shield counter, hilt smash, furious blow, those are all pretty good. Pretty good in the sense of pretty good. Fucking lock that shit ASAP. Shield push, lock this shit. Evasion, lock this shit. And then what is that? Shield strike up here, lock this shit too, and that's it. Moving on over to Awakening, Frenzied Strikes, lock this. Hilt Strike, this is a preference. You can play with it locked or unlocked. It's just something you should experiment with and figure out if it fits in your play style or not. This is our evasion shred, or not really, it's like our accuracy buff, I should say. So Solar Flare is like 3% Eva shred, and then Hilt Strike is 6% accuracy. So you want to be able to utilize this if you're fighting an Eva player. If you really want to, I don't really care. 9 times out of 10, even if I fight an Eva player with this skill in mind, I'm probably still not going to kill them because they're most likely running a lot of Eva anyway, and 6% is barely going to make a difference. Right now, the meta is heavily based in DR, so you need a lot more AP than accuracy to do really anything at this point. So you just kind of have to pass the DR check. So accuracy doesn't necessarily help us a lot right now. So it's kind of up to you. Again, it's play style preference, but yeah, I don't really like this. And then knee kick, I lock this. You can put it on the hotbar if you want. And just for me, I don't really use it. I don't have the muscle memory for this. It's never been in my handbook of play style, so I don't really use it that often or at all. So yeah, and even if I did want to use it, it'd take me a while to kind of get it into my rotation of muscle memory. So I'm just not playing BDO like that, where I'm experimenting with new things. So gotta be honest, it's just not in my muscle memory, and it's not going to be, at least for a while. As for core skills, balance strike, you should only be using balance strike. The only other honorable mention is grave digging, and I'll tell you why you shouldn't be using grave digging. Grave digging right now in this current meta is really bad, and the reason it's bad is not because the skill and the way that it's used is bad. It's just the meta doesn't support the skill for it to be good. So on paper and in theory, this looks really promising and looks like a solid core skill, but the major issue with it is that every class currently is mega protected, super armor, super forward guards, everything's got every little bit of protection, and every class is so protected to the point where this skill is never going to hit. You're never going to CC anybody out of this other than just pure luck. If they're really bad, you might hit it a lot, but if you're actually fighting competent players that know how to actually move and do rotations and protections, they are going to never get hit by this. And not only that too, the last hit of grave digging is what'll give you the knockdown. So you have to do the whole animation in order to get the KD, which leaves you vulnerable to a grab. Sure, you can cancel it at any point in time, but then if you're canceling it all the time before even getting to the core skill, then what is the point of using this? It makes no sense. So maybe when the meta shifts and it becomes less protection and like every class is less protected and doesn't have so many forward guards and so many SAs and iframes, when that changes, this could potentially be a very, very good core skill. But as the meta currently stands, this is absolutely terrible and is not going to work. And everything else is just as bad, if not worse. So Balance Strike is the only core that matters. You should only be utilizing this at all times. It's our protected engage, protected movement, and overall just is the best pick. Your bomb skills, Frenzied Spear, Shield Tide, and the third one realistically it doesn't really matter, but like I use Counter Slash because you can elongate a forward guard. So Shield Tide, forward guard, and then you press RB afterwards, and then you'll get a forward guard as well. And then if you do Frenzied Spear, you can do get a forward guard off of that if you press RB like that. So there's a couple options that you can utilize the third bomb, but it just really depends on how you're utilizing it. But yeah, this will give you an extended forward guard, like I said. So Shield Tide, extended forward guard. So there you go. Those are the bombs. As for add-ons, go ahead and copy these down. I will warn you though, if you use these add-ons, there's a particular play style that you're going to need to utilize with this, and there's a specific combo that you're going to want to utilize as well. So add-ons, you can use these, but these are specific to me and Franco. Me and Franco are the ones that came up with these add-ons for console players and how we utilize things in large scale. Me and Franco are primarily large scale players. We are always doing large scale whenever we prefer, like that's our preferred placement in our node wars and sieges, even though we don't fight in node wars and sieges anymore because the game is the way that the game is and nobody's fighting each other, so it kind of sucks. But whenever we do large scale, this is our preferred add-on choices, and this is what we came up with. So just bear in mind, again, if you utilize these add-ons, just understand this is to mine and place, like mine and Franco's play style. This is not a general Warriors play style, so just understand that. All right, so next thing, let's just talk about movement for a second. So there is a way to move on Warrior, like long distances. So you'll do Solar, Balance, Heaven's Cleave, and then you'll do Slashing the Dead, and then you can C-swap, and then it'll cancel into Spin Slash. So it should look something like this. There you go, something like that. And then you can kind of go into other micro movements, like such as, I wouldn't even say micro movement, but you can do like shield bash, and then shield charge, and then you can do frenzy dash, and then just kind of rinse and repeat that entire process all over again. And then you also have your little bit like your kind of non-stamina usage movement. Not that we use stamina anyway, but so to do this right here, this is like Warrior goofy, like where we're doing like weird movement. You can utilize this. It's kind of more stylish than anything else, but this will help you get acclimated with some movement cancels. So how you want to practice this, hold the block button and then do chopping kick, right? After you do chopping kick, do back RB into your little, your right here, your little counter. And then from here, you're going to do back RT, which you'll do jumping spin slash. So all together, chopping kick, counter, jumping spin slash, and then you just do this on repeat. And then that's it. This is how you do that movement. Really simple, really easy. Now, when you want to do that movement out of, like, let's say slashing, so you're gonna do slashing, C swap, wait a second, which by the way, the second, it's a tight window. It's a very tight window. So slashing, C swap, back RT, and then you'll do the little spin slash jump. So you have to wait a second, but after that second, so slashing, C swap 1 second, boom, then you let it rip, and there you go. That's the movement. There's not really much to it. It's just like kind of run around everywhere. There is a method to the madness, but that comes with time and experimentation. I can't really explain it too well because the movement for me, I'm just utilizing what's off cooldown, and if everything's on cooldown and I blow all my movement, I'll just block, and then I'll just kind of micro move like this, boom, and then just kind of keep moving around and just sort of, being careful with my movement. My movement is a lot different than other warriors. A lot of warriors are crackheads and they move like crackheads, and a lot of times that's okay, and it's really, really good in small scale and 1v1s, but in large scale that shit'll get you killed. So the problem with crackhead movement is, like, you'll see the warriors, they'll use forward slash to cancel certain movements unprotected. You're gonna fucking die. They'll use this to go into this, you'll die. And then if you're utilizing movement like this, all this forward guard movement, you will die. You have to understand that your forward guard movement is your weakness, and everybody knows that, because everybody knows that nobody's going to catch a warrior in this or this or this or this, right? They're going to catch you in this. This is when you're most vulnerable, and that's when your opponents are going to look for, is when you're moving in that forward guard dashing motion, and they'll recognize it too. Everybody that fights warriors regularly will know this is a warrior's weakest state. So the more that you're aware of that, the more likely you're less to be caught. But you have to understand that you can't just throw this out all the time. You don't really want to use this in an offensive manner. You want to use it in a defensive manner. You don't want to use your forward guard movement super offensively, even though you can. It's just, it depends on the opponent and the character you're fighting, and what skills that they have that can exploit what you're using. So for example, right, one of my favorite catches is just running up with frenzy dash. So I'll just sit here, hold block, and they'll sit there, hold block, and I'll just bink, goodbye, and then grab them up, right? I do that all the time. I hit that shit on everybody, like everybody that, and also DKs fall for that shit all the fucking time. I don't know why, they just always fall for that shit. That's like the only offensive way that I use it. And then the other way that I use it is I'll utilize it to disorient my opponent. So what I'll do is I'll dash around like this, throw this, and then, you know, try and hit the little stiff. And sometimes that'll work, sometimes it won't work. It just really depends on the character and the player that I'm fighting. But a lot of times people actually get disoriented by this, where it's just you're running around like this, and then you hit them with that, and then you go like this, boom, and then you grab them up, whatever. You miss the grab, you've missed everything because you fucking suck at the game, and there you go. That's it. Like that's one of the few things that I'll use it offensively, and you'll see that a lot whenever my old 1v1 videos. You'll see me utilize that technique all the time, where I'm running around my opponent trying to, like, you know, confuse them a lot of times, and it works to some degree, but sometimes it's like not always, you know, a top tier tactic, and sometimes it can get me killed. So just keep in mind, like I said, forward guard movement is your weakness, and you just have to be aware of that. And if you know how to cover it, you'll be that much of a better warrior. And for combos, we're just going to keep it simple, okay? I'm going to teach you two combos. I'm going to teach you a complicated combo, and then I'm going to teach you a basic combo, okay? We'll start with the basics, all right? So first step, grab, get behind your opponent, and then from here, you can either wait till they're up. You don't have to, but you can wait if you're a little nervous and you need muscle memory. This is a good way to practice. A lot of warriors don't recommend this, but I think it's okay if you do it this way. So grab and then armor break. So you can either do it right now, or you can wait till they get up and then hit him with a stiff, and then you go into your reckless. So it's okay if you wait. You don't actually have to speed run it, right? This combo can actually support you being a little slow. So you could do something like this, right? Grab, wait a second, gather yourself, boom, 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 and there you go. You can actually do the combo slow, and it's okay. It won't be the end of the world. So just know that you don't have to speed run the combo. However, you can speed run the combo by doing, let's say, grab this, and then you just go directly into the exact same combo, and there you go, boom. And that's it. So slow motion on the combo. You're gonna grab, right? I just pretend I grabbed, okay? We're just gonna go over here, okay? So grab, put them on the floor, dash behind them, and then you're going to go into armor break, reckless blow, ankle break, pulverize tempest, and then you do grave dig slashing, or you can do it out of order and you could do the other method. So you could do the way that I just told you, or you do this: dash behind, armor break, full charge reckless, ankle break, grave dig slashing, pulverize tempest. So you use pulverize tempest towards the end. So it really just depends. And some warriors are more comfortable doing it this way, where they just do armor break and then you do reckless, ankle break, pulverize tempest, grave dig slashing. Some warriors prefer to do it that way, and that's okay. You can totally do it that way, but I would recommend getting acclimated with the other way, because that's where you're going to get more damage. So if you do it this way, ankle break, grave dig slashing, pulverize tempest, this is actually going to net you more damage, and I'll tell you why. So the next combo I'm going to teach you is, we're going to teach you the pre-buff combo. So how you're going to do this is you're going to need to master one thing. All right, you're going to throw Merciless block cancel, Overwhelm block cancel, and then armor break. That's all you're gonna do. So just make sure that you get used to this. So what it's gonna look like is gonna look like this. You see how in the bottom right I have crit and down attack buffs? That's what you're looking for. You want to be able to have that up at all times so you can maximize damage. So how this is going to work is you're going to do the exact same combo I just taught you, but you are going to fit in that pre-buff and you're not going to full charge Reckless. So this is what it'll look like. And there you go, something like that. Ignore the ender there. I just always default into, you know, down smashing because you know, sometimes you hit it and sometimes you don't. So if you get acclimated with that, you'll be able to down smash reset too. However, that's all you're looking for, and you'll maximize your damage by getting your pre-buff out. So for those of you that are unaware, well, I can just probably show you through this. So let's see, Overwhelm right here, 10% down attack damage, right? And then when we utilize ankle break in our add-on, we get down attack damage plus 5%. So if we use Overwhelm and we use ankle break together, we're getting 15% down attack damage. And then Merciless is the exact same thing, except it's not 10%, it's 5%. So Merciless, let me move my character real quick. So move myself over here for a moment. So if you'll see right here, critical hit damage plus 5%. So if we factor that into the add-on for ankle break, we're getting 5% from Merciless buff, and then we're getting another 5% from ankle break. So you're getting 10% critical hit damage. Mind you, special evasion is gone now. They got rid of it. So now it's just HP. So these crystals right here, these crystals used to be special evasion, and it would allow you to, you know, have a special Eva defense. So basically anything that was critical hit damage, down attack, anything that was special damage, you had evasion to it, right? So it was mitigating a lot of damage. But since they got rid of it now, it's non-existent. So any percent damage is much more effective than just raw like anything else, right? You want that shit. So that's why I have builds like this, for example, where it's kind of a little hybrid tankiness. It's still pretty tanky, but we're factoring in corrupteds where it gives us 10% critical hit damage. So we're getting a lot of crit damage from these types of crystals, and then you factor in the add-ons with everything else, we actually do quite a bit, and we can still maintain a certain level of tankiness that's pretty adequate. So that's just some examples right there on why me and Franco like that combo, which Franco's the one that came up with that combo. So just keep that in mind. That's how we're doing it, is we're doing all this like extra like pre-buff shit, and then we're keeping opponents on the floor, and then we're just kind of doing our big buff damage, right? Like that's how we're killing people as a warrior now. As for a large scale engage, I would recommend doing this. So I'll break it down for you. You're gonna do solar flare, balance, block cancel into reckless, and then you're gonna do ankle break, pulverized tempest, or ankle break slashing, or ankle break into grave digging slashing, whichever one. It doesn't really matter because you're just kind of throwing SAs. So I'll just do a quick example and put the notation on screen. And then we get out. That's our large scale engage. And there you have it. That is the small warrior guide that I could do. I still felt like I was kind of info dumping on you guys, but there's a lot more nuances to the character. It's just, I don't want to overwhelm you guys, and I also want you guys to be kind of understanding the basics first before going into anything crazy. So for those of you that are already pretty adept in that, you can ignore this video and don't worry too much about it, or you can feel free to add to the comments down below a few extra things that I may have left out, so either by purpose or I forgot. Either or, I'm gonna probably do a couple more videos on some nuances with the warrior and talk individually about certain aspects that I would rather tackle in a singular video than as a whole and overwhelm you guys with things. But here we covered add-ons, engages, we covered what the fuck else did we cover? Combos. Oh, that's what it was, combos. And then what the fuck else was it? I don't know. We covered a lot. It felt like a lot, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you guys want anything more from BDO, let me know. I will do my best to try and appease the masses, but that is it. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye bye.